Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and I am finally announcing that I'm going to be changing my playstyle when it comes to this game. For many years, ever since I've essentially started playing this game, I have been the aggressive player. Being aggressive gives you advantages and disadvantages. For example, a player like His Royal Fatness usually plays a bit more passive at the beginning of the battle to allow his teammates around him to get some spots out, and he'll probably get spots out himself, but it's usually a more passive approach, allowing the enemy to get spotted and then formulate what you're going to do after they've been detected rather than being the person in the front line detecting them yourself. Now that creates some advantages and disadvantages. For example, the advantage is that when you're not the person spotting for your team and you're not the aggressor, there isn't the possibility of being YOLO'd or the possibility of instantly getting nuked because you were the first one to do that. The disadvantage is that sometimes you might not be able to get off some early game shots that you could if you played aggressive. You might not be able to get some early game clears by spotting somebody that your teammates may not. So those are the advantages and disadvantages between the two playstyles. I've always been the aggressor. I've always liked YOLOing right up into the front line. And with certain tanks, for example, like my Concept 1B, it's great because you get to play super aggressive and then you can spot the enemy, and then in that type of tank you can hold hull down and never really be penned. However, ever since update 9.2, where Wargaming has made it so that every single autoloader is absolutely busted on the damage capabilities they have, it's really just ruined the art of my playstyle. Nowadays, if you play aggressive and the enemy team has even a player that doesn't understand what they're doing and just YOLOs you with an autoloader, guess what? Your game can be over in a matter of just a couple seconds. And I figured I'd showcase, I think, the final battle that's really tipped me over the edge. I am no longer going to be the person that is going to be super aggressive. I'll be the person behind the aggressive players, waiting for them to be YOLO'd so I can farm off of them. Because at this point, I really don't understand what more I can do with this game to actually be the main person, being the bigger man. For example, if we take a look at the enemy lineup, they have a pretty stock standard lineup. They got an AIM-X50B, FE2 and 5B, Foch, STBs, T110E4, and a Type 71. I mean, that's a pretty average lineup. I can't say they have anything necessarily overpowered. I mean, the two STBs is a little cringe, but it's nothing we can't deal with. On my team, I got some pretty good tanks. 60 TP, 4005 will be great for covering, 263, IS-7, I'm 263, sorry, I'm losing my mind there, I said that twice, but we got some good tanks for holding, it's the best way to word it. We got autoloaders, I'm in an autoloader myself, a very strong one, so our whole team is very solid here. And as you can see, my Progetto's pushing up towards base A. Doesn't spot anybody apart from an STB, so I'm like, okay, I would expect that STB, which it did, to go hull down over here, and with the other STB in mid, it would be a smart decision to push this guy and then use that pushing potential to stop the enemy team and start farming them, like that Foch over there. And, you know, everything seems normal. I got a 4005 behind me, a 260 behind me, IS-7 back here. 57's in a pretty useless spot. I'm not even sure why he's in B, but he's still there. I mean, he's in a spot. And the 60 TP's also over here. So the majority of my team, apart from the IS-7 and 57 heavy, are basically here. So it's not like I've positioned my tank in any bad of a decision. So I bounced the STB once, unfortunate. Shell just decides to miss, and an AIM-X50B YOLOs me. Nothing I could have done about it. The F50B goes low. He literally kills himself for it too. You're going to watch this. Yesterday I posted a video on smart YOLOing. And smart YOLOing, as I described, is the term of seeing the opportunity to push somebody without killing yourself and putting yourself in a bad situation. This 50B did the essence of NA YOLOing, which is when you just YOLO somebody because you're bad at the game and don't know what else to do. So this 50B, full health kills himself from full to 0, and he dies for it and ruins my game in the process. And there you go. This is what happens, apparently, in World of Tanks Blitz when you try and do your job nowadays. There's no reason why, or not why, but there's no way I could have possibly gotten out of that situation. If I had gone forwards towards the STB and 2 and 5B, I still would have died. If I had gone backwards and tried to get away from that 50B's clip, I would have gotten killed by everybody else up at A. No matter what I would have done in this situation, I would have lost. And the crazy part is, even though I get nuked for trying to do my job, and the Progetto gets absolutely demolished for trying to do his job, far corner A, I deal 400 damage, our 263, 60 TP, everybody else in the team gets to farm and deal fine. And It's a perfect example of how being the aggressor does have its disadvantage. And this was one of those disadvantages. Being the person trying to do the job for the team because they don't want to do it causes you to be in a line of sometimes death. And in this situation, I get downvotes for trying to do my job, for trying to help out the team, and I'm the one who gets punished for it. So I'm not going to do it anymore. I am going to adopt the fatness type of playstyle where you wait for the enemy team to get spotted so things like this don't happen. There's no way I could have known the 50B was going to do that. There's no way I could have predicted the entire enemy team was going to YOLO like that. But if I had waited for the Progetto to be YOLO'd by all those takes, I could have sat there and farmed, and we may have even won. It's a great example of how even driving heavy takes that have great guns, massive damage capabilities, why bother? What's the point? You know, what's the point? So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to say. Wargaming has designed their game in such a poor way now that even skilled players don't want to do their job on the front line because they're going to be punished. And it's, again, not even my team's fault, really. As I said, it's not my team's fault for farming off of me. It's very frustrating. Now, is this a rare game where obviously the majority of times you play this isn't going to happen? Yes. Obviously, not a lot of teams are going to full YOLO on Faust a corner because who's ever going to think they are? But they have been more and more and more lately as Wargaming keeps on making tanks faster. They keep on making their clips deadlier. For example, the AMX 50B is going to be able to have a faster intraclip next update from a 3-second to a 2.7. And this battle here is going to be another perfect example of where my mediums don't want to do their job. Base B is where you should put any hull down medium. It's just a fact. Base A is useless, at least in my opinion, as a skilled player who's played on Canyon at least 1,000 times at this point. This is an absolutely useless base. You have no hull down opportunities. You get no good shots off apart from people that go to B. But why would you go there to get shots in the B when you can go to mid? What's going to end up happening is my M60 and M48 patent are both going to go to base A, which ends up allowing the enemy tank destroyers, being the Jagdpanzer E100 and FE2 and 5B183, to completely hold mid. You're going to watch that in just a moment here. There's the FE2 and 5B183, and then the Jagdpanzer is also going to get spotted there. Now, normally, when you have your mediums up at this spot, it would instantly stop that Jag and 183 from being able to push up, because obviously, they're there. But in this situation here, we have nobody to stop these players. So I'm aiming in on this Jag. I got one pen in, and unfortunately bounces, but there's nothing I can do here. That Jag is completely blocked off this alleyway. So at this point, as you would probably expect, you'd be like, hey, Droodles, well, why don't you just go up to B? Because you said your mediums to do it. Well, that's not a bad idea. Let me head up to B. All right, let's keep on going. Oh, wait, base C is being captured. Uh-oh. And not only is base C being captured, but here's the craziest part. R183 just poked full out, or their 183 just poked full out in the open. Just nukes the M60, kills him. Okay, well that's great. But even if I try to go to base B at this point, there's a standard B now on the side. There's also a K91 that you're going to see in a moment that gets spotted right there, which is going to make it even more useless. And there's a 183 and Jag behind me. This is literally the exact same situation I just showed you on Faust, now just on a different map. Once again, there's nothing I could have done in this battle to have changed anything that happened. Even if I had gone towards base A, it wouldn't have mattered. Even though I stayed a bit more passive this game, doesn't matter. I get nuked, I get punished for trying to do the best I can. That shell goes low, misses the standard B, now my M48 patent's dead, and there you have it. So another perfect example of where trying to do your job gets you absolutely punished. It's weird. It really is weird to see games ending up like this, where, I mean, literally, there is nothing. Look at this team. I gave everybody down notes, as you can see. I was mad. I didn't say anything in chat, but I was very mad at this result here. My M48 patent, 43% win rate. Doesn't know anything he's doing. M60, 47% win rate. Two of the most important players on my team are both less than 50%. Leopard PTA is the only 50%er, and that's not even a tank that's really going to honestly hold mid. It's just saddening. That's really all there is to say. At the end of the day, this game has definitely gone down a massive pillar of excitement for me because of the fact these teams are like this. And I'm not the only player experiencing this. I mean, you can ask Flossie as well, because we've been tuning, and he's been experiencing some of the worst teams he's ever been seeing as well. I don't know what Wargaming's done. I don't know if they have changed the way the matchmaker works, because they said they tweaked it just a couple months ago. But the teams have just been atrocious, and it's games like this that make you question why you play this game, because you literally press the battle button and we're instantly designed to defeat. And no matter what you do, you lose. No matter what. And you get punished for it. Your shells miss the lower plate of a standard B right in front of you. You get nuked by the Yag because you tried to literally get out of spawn in the first 30 seconds. And it's just frustrating. That's the best way to describe it. At the end of the day, there's not much you can do about it, but as I said, I'm going to combat this by playing less aggressive. I'm going to let my team be the ones that spot. I'm going to wait for the enemy to get detected, and then I'll farm, because why should I be the one getting punished for trying to do my job? At the end of the day, this is World of Tanks Blitz, and this is what you might have to do to change your playstyle to adapt to the game. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.